أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد رب يسر ولا تعسر رب تمم بالخير رب زدنا علما وارزقنا فهما أما بعد. Alhamdulillah, we have arrived at the fifth principle, al-ma'aqid al-khamis, after the first four, alhamdulillah, and we have spent some time on the initial four. The rest of these, inshallah, they shouldn't be that too long, because this, the concept of this initial sharh of this matn is supposed to be brief in the first place, but we've spent some time on the initial four because they needed that clarification. But inshallah, after this, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, it should be relatively quicker to go through this matn, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So the Shaykh, he mentions as a fifth principle, al-ma'aqid al-khamis, he says, سلوك الجادة الموصلة إليه. Al-jadda is the ideal path, the quickest path to take from point A to point B. Okay, inshallah. So imagine you had two parallel lines, right, as we do in maths, for example. And you know, mathematically, the shortest distance between the two is always the distance which is perpendicular. Right, which is perpendicular between the two lines, which is right literally at 90 degrees. So we would call this jadda. Okay? This path that connects the two lines in this manner is al-jadda, the quickest and the ideal path to get from point A to point B. Tamam, inshallah? Suluk is to tread. So treading al-jadda, the ideal path. Which path? Al-musilati, the one that takes you, that sort of that leads you and makes you arrive at ilayhi, towards al-ilm, ilayhi, towards it, towards al-ilm. So this ma'aqid, this fifth principle, is about the path, the ideal, clear, straight path that we need to tread as students of knowledge, that will lead us to our desired goal, that is, inshallah, success and najah fi darain, success in both worlds, in this dunya and in the akhirah, earning the rida of Allah Azza wa Jal, the pleasure of Allah Azza wa Jal, in the best way possible. So Shaykh says, لِكُلِّ مَطْلُوبٍ طَرِيقٍ يُوصِلُ إِلَيْهِ. For everything that is sought, matlub, something sought, for everything sought, there's a طريق, there's a path, يُوصِلُ إِلَيْهِ, that leads towards it. فَمَنْ سَلَكَ جَادَّةَ مَطْلُوبِهِ. فَمَنْ, so whoever, سَلَكَ, treads, or has treaded, that's the past. فَمَنْ سَلَكَ جَادَّةَ مَطْلُوبِهِ, the ideal straight path towards it, its desired goal. أَوْقَفَتْهُ عَلَيْهِ, that jadda, that straight path, will lead him straight upon that milestone, upon that ilm, that thing that is being sought, that matlub. Okay? أوقفتhu, it will lead in and sort of place it on top of that, where he wants to get to. Okay? Whoever tread the ideal straight path towards his desired goal, that path will definitely lead him towards it. وَمَنْ عَدَلَ عَنْهَا, and whoever transgresses it or sort of turns away from it, adala is to sort of change and digress and turn away, عنها, from it, the straight path, jadda, لم يظفر بمطلوبه, he will never succeed, or he will never attain his desired sought goal. وَإِنَّ لِلْعِلْمِ طَرِيقًا, and indeed for knowledge, this knowledge that we're speaking of, the knowledge of the Quran and Sunnah, هناك طريقا, there's a path. من أخطأها, whoever misses it, whoever goes against it or goes out of it, ضل, he will be lost. ولم ينل, and he will not attain المقصود, the desired outcome, whatever is desired or intended. وربما أصاب فائدة قليلة, and perhaps ربما, perhaps أصاب, he would reach or he would attain فائدة, benefit, قليلة, very little. Perhaps he will attain some benefit مع تعب كثير, with an abundance of stress and tiredness. Right, he will be tired immensely. He will be extremely exhausted. For the sake of attaining a small benefit. Subhanallah. If he misses the path. Okay, so treading this after you're sincere, after you're cleansing your heart of the shahawat and the shubuhat and all, right, and you're seeking the knowledge of the Quran and Sunnah, you need to follow the straight path. Following that path is important, right? Which is why you have to make sure that when it comes to seeking knowledge, there is some room for specifics of which book to study, which sheikh to study. Different countries are different in that matter. Some books are taught in some countries and they're not taught in the others. For example, we have some books on grammar that we teach in Pakistan or India or the subcontinent, Ajami land, which are not taught in the Arab world as such, right? But there is a path, i.e. grammar is studied. Some matan which is agreed upon by the people of the land, the ulama that teach it, they've agreed upon this matan, they've taught it, they've written books on it, and so on and so forth, right? So there's always, other than the specifics, the general details of the path, they're clear. Okay, so we need to stick to those, inshallah. Anyone who does not take that path, whoever relies on their intelligence and tries to craft a third way, other than what has already been treaded upon by the Salaf Salihin, for example, then he's bound to face trouble. And it is mashhud. We have witnessed this in our lives, that people, they end up very, very far from where they were supposed to end up at. It's in terms of the innovation they come up with and the misguidance. وقد ذكر هذا الطريقة بلفظ جامع مانع محمد مرتضى بن محمد this is mistake here, الزبيدي. And تحقيق this طريق, this path has been mentioned بلفظ جامع مانع, with words which are comprehensive, and مانع for anything that could break its comprehensiveness. So basically, the best word would be to use over here would be they are essentially conclusive, right? Conclusive. So he has mentioned some words which are essentially comprehensive and conclusive in this regard, right? The author of one of the largest compendiums of Arabic language, the dictionaries, qamus, known as Tajul Urus, written by Murtada al-Zubaydi, rahimahullah. في منظومة, in a short poem, له, which he has written, it's for him, it's his poem, منظومة له, in a poem of his, تسمى ألفية السند, the 1,000 lines of a sanad, of authority or chain. يقول فيها, he says, فما حوى الغاية في 1000 سنة شخص فخذ من كل فن أحسنه بحفظ متن جامع للراجح تأخذه على مفيد ناصح. فما حوى الغاية في 1000 سنة شخص. So this is, of course, is a continuity in the lines. The Shaykh is just picking these lines out of a poem. The continuum is basically فما حوى الغاية في 1000 سنة شخص, a person, ما حوى, he will never encompass the desired end, the desired goal in 1,000 years if he tried to do, if he tried to, tread a path of his own making, right? He will not attain the goal that he desires even in 1,000 years. 1000 سنة, right? شخص, any man, right? If he wants to attain a goal in knowledge, wants to get somewhere, he will not attain it. Be it 1,000 years he spends, right? Be that time, be it 1,000 years. You're not going to succeed, and this person will not succeed. So what should they do? فَخُذْ مِنْ كُلِّ فَنٍّ أَحْسَنَ. فَخُذْ, so take or learn, acquire, master from every science the best of it. Okay? The best of it. How do you do that? بِحِفْظِ مَتْنٍ جَامِعٍ لِلرَّاجِحِ. By memorizing a matn, a small treatise or text in that particular science, جَامِعٍ, that is comprehensive, or that includes all of that which is لِلرَّاجِحِ, that is rajih, that is agreed upon by the ulama of that science. The masters of that science have agreed upon those axioms or those principles, and they've been collected together in that matn. Memorize or study that matn. So when hifz is mentioned, it means that you not just learn, but also understand and internalize and memorize. Yes, memorize for word by word that matn. The extent of it is debated. How much should you memorize? But inshallah we'll speak about this. تأخذه على مفيد الناصح. Where do you take these mutun from? Where do you study them? تأخذه, you take them على مفيد الناصح, يعني على يدي مفيد الناصح, upon the hands of someone who is mufid, who is able to benefit you, وناصح, and he is nasih, he's a well wisher of yours. He wishes the best for you. He wants the best for you, right? He gives you the best nasiha, and he has expertise in that. Anyway, the Shaykh explains that. فطريق العلم وجادته مبنية على أمرين. So based on this, the path towards knowledge, وجادته, and its ideal path, its most ideal path, مبنية على أمرين. It's based upon two things, two affairs. من أخذ بهما, whoever takes these two strongly, whoever clings onto them, كان معظما للعلم. He is the one who truly is معظم, who glorifies للعلم, who glorifies the knowledge. Okay, he's a mu'azzim for ilm. He's the one who glorifies ilm. He is the one who in reality glorifies and exalts ilm, knowledge. Other than that, if someone does not tread upon, whoever does not cling onto these two principles, these two things that the Shaykh is going to mention, then he is not a mu'azzim lil ilm, because he is leaving the path of the ulama. لأنه يطلبه من حيث يمكن الوصول إليه. Because يطلبه, he seeks العلم, he seeks it من حيث يمكن الوصول إليه. He seeks this knowledge from place where it is possible to actually get to knowledge. Where from which place it is easier to navigate towards the desired goal in ilm, in knowledge. Okay. Let's say you want to go to Umrah, طيب, and you're in London, طيب, and instead of booking the flight to Jeddah, for example, or Medina, or Saudi Arabia in general, you book a flight to Pakistan, طيب. Now from that place where you're headed, that path that you've chosen, you're not really someone who cares much about the goal of doing Umrah, right? Because your actions are showing that, right? Surely going to Pakistan is not going to help you reach Mecca for Umrah, because you should have just booked the flight too, right? So basically the point is that whoever takes these two principles, inshallah, he puts himself in a position which will allow him to attain his goal, which in ilm. The Shaykh says, فَأَمَّا الْأَمْرُ الْأَوَّلُ. As for the first thing, الأمر الأول, the first affair, the first matter, فَحِفْظُ مَتْنٍ جَامِعٍ لِلرَّاجِحِ. For it is the memorization of a comprehensive matn jami', a comprehensive matn, treatise, لِلرَّاجِحِ, that combines all the agreed upon principles, axioms of a science. فَلَا بُدَّ مِنْ حِفْظ. Right? There is no way without hifz. You have to memorize. Okay, فلا بد من حفظ. There is no way without memorization. Hifz is important. ومن ظن أنه ينال العلم بلا حفظ فإنه يطلب محالا. Whoever assumes, whoever thinks أنه ينال العلم, that he will attain knowledge بلا حفظ, without memorization, فإنه يطلب محالا. he is indeed seeking an impossible thing. Muhal, impossible. He's seeking something impossible. Okay. والمحفوظ المعول عليه هو المتن الجامع للراجح أي المعتمد عند أهل الفن. المحفوظ المعول. معنى المحفوظ محفوظ something which is memorized. Okay. Something which is memorized. المعول that people rely on. The people in different countries have relied on. تمام. المعول عليه that people have relied on. طيب. هو المتن الجامع. Right? So the thing that is memorized, that is the relied upon matan, is هو المتن الجامع للراجح. It is the matan that combines between all the agreed upon axioms and principles. يعني المعتمد عند أهل الفن. المعتمد either the thing which is credible with the experts of that fan. أهل الفن, experts of that science. Okay. طيب. Before we jump on to the next thing, the Sheikh, when he says that you have to memorize, he's 100% correct. There's no way that you're going to attain any perfection in your knowledge, any level of mastery, without memorization. Okay. Without memorization. So what do you memorize? How do you memorize? How much do you memorize? All of these things are questions of ijtihad, and they vary from place to place. But the principle, as far as the Shaykh is mentioning, that there is always some agreed upon matan in a land that ulama have relied on, they have taught, they have studied, they have memorized. And you should aim to study that. Inshallah, alhamdulillah, we have included all those things in our program. So you'll definitely come across all the mutun in every science that you're supposed to memorize. Now, how do you memorize? There has to be a memorization of meaning. That's the most important thing, and understanding. So meaning and understanding comes first. That is also a form of meaning. That's right. So that's shibh al-hifz. And if your Arabic is strong enough, if you've memorized the meanings well, like conceptually, just like you study for a maths exam, you don't memorize the formulas and things word for word. You still memorize things for conceptually. You practice, and the thing in terms of the concept and the meaning, they sort of become rooted in your mind, right? So that's one way of memorization. The other thing is, yes, you have to memorize the thing verbatim, right? And that doesn't have to be, or that shouldn't be done with everything, right? The ulama, they normally mention that the first and foremost is the Quran and the Sunnah. So you should memorize Quran as much as you can, inshallah. Ideally the whole of it. Then a good portion of the Sunnah, at least something that is in 40 hadith, and let's say the hadith in Bulugh al-Maram, for example, right? Something which you can use, inshallah, for your ahkam, right? For your daily rulings and so on and so forth. And things of aqidah and other, and so on and so forth. So a hadith that concern that, inshallah, at least that level of memorization. And then you read hadith, the books of a hadith, inshallah, and you sort of just read and memorize as much as you can naturally, without trying to repeat something X, Y, and Z, and doing the intensive memorization routine with it. Ulama, like the Hufaz, they just read books and books again and again and again, and over time they almost end up memorizing the words of it, right? So that is another type of hifz. So the point being that when we talk about hifz, there's hifz of the word itself. Then there is a hifz which is you memorize the word and the meaning. Then there's a hifz of just the meaning, and then there's a hifz of just understanding, which is different from meaning, because meaning is just to get the concept, but understanding is when you've applied it, once you've tested it in real time, and you've solved issues with it, and so on and so forth, right? So there is the concept of the Bloom's taxonomy, which refers to the highest form of learning comes when you create something. So when you start teaching, right? So teaching is another form of memorization. When you create something by writing a book, perhaps, in science, right? So all of those ways are different ways of memorization. Yes, so another thing is, should you memorize first, or should you understand first, or should you do them both at the same time? Ideally, at the same time, yes. But depending on different circumstances, how programs are structured. For example, universities are not very encouraging when it comes to memorization, of things and mastery of things in that manner. They primarily just focus on understanding a few concepts and rote memorization of those things, and then giving the exams, and that's it, right? When it comes to this topic, it is ideal to put it in a circumstance where like you judge individually. طيب. I want to speak as far as we are concerned in this program, inshallah, because we're not rushing too fast. We are going slowly. We're doing one book at a time, inshallah. You will have plenty of time later on, once you've become really, really fluent, inshallah, with the Arabic and its basic sciences in Arab. You will have plenty of time to memorize and understand and apply at the same time, because that's how we've structured it, the whole course, inshallah ta'ala. طيب. So as far as we are concerned, in the students of this program, inshallah, when we study different mutun, inshallah, you will find that I'll give you a few things, right? Some of them would be questions, right? So you will have to answer the questions in the Arabic that you've studied in the book. For example, if the ماذا قال الشيخ عن الأمر الأول, right? What did the Sheikh say about the first affair, first matter? You would say يقول فحفظ متن جامع للراجح فلا بد من حفظ. That's what the Sheikh said. So you break the whole thing, you break the whole matan into question and answers. That's one way. So that's something that we'll definitely do. It really eases. You're still memorizing the thing word for word, but you're not memorizing it in big chunks where you're not able to recall things when they're needed. So inshallah, that's something that we're going to do. There's going to be mind maps, inshallah. There's going to be lots of questions, applications. Then there's going to be da'wah challenges, inshallah, where you're going to be trying to where you'll teach certain concepts to your audience that inshallah will develop over time. Through the different challenges that we'll do, X, Y, and Z. So there's a different, and then some things, definitely you'll have to memorize word for word, okay? But for those things, inshallah, you'll have plenty of time. So, and inshallah will guide you as to how to memorize them best, inshallah, okay? So, as far as this course is concerned. Other than that, different people, for example, myself, when I initially came to Pakistan, I knew that I didn't have enough time. I was always, there was initially when I came, there was this, my plan was to stay here for a few years, 3 to 4 years, and then just go back to England and start teaching, whatever I learned here. But then my mind changed and X went up. But in those initial years, I wasn't focusing on memorization much. Although I was memorizing things naturally, just because of having a good memory. But other than that, I wasn't trying. I was mainly focused on understanding things deeply, questioning, discussion, debate, trying to get to the heart of the problem, trying to make sense, trying to connect things, one thing with the other, different fields of knowledge, grammar with sarf, nahu with sarf, sarf with balagha, ma'ani, X, Y, and Z. That was my main method of study when I first came. I wasn't focusing on memorization. I memorized things conceptually and some things, a lot of things word by word as well, just by the sheer intensity of my studies. But that wasn't the goal, right? That just happened as a side effect of things. But so this is the approach I took. Because my plan was that I'll study now, and I'll have enough time to memorize when I'm back. I can start teaching and memorizing later on, right? So that was my plan. Others, like kids when they're younger, they are encouraged to memorize first, and then when they're a bit older and they've learned enough Arabic, that's when they start studying, right? So you judge based on individual cases, right? Every case is different. And you judge on on individual basis. طيب. And there's different mechanisms of hifz. As I've mentioned, just verbatim rote memorization of words, or words and meaning, and then words, meaning, understanding, and then application, teaching, all of that, right? Inshallah. But the point at the end of it is that you have to memorize, you have to master one key text in every single science. That has to be done. There is no other way around it. If you want to claim any position in knowledge, inshallah, and you want to hold some say in the matter in your localities, if you want to serve as a leader, an imam, as a teacher, inshallah, bi'idhni ta'ala, all of you will be teachers, inshallah, at some point, you have to memorize mutun. And by that I mean, in this program, it means that you have to be diligent with all the activities and the tasks that we set you, okay? Don't take anything lightly. Don't just, if I could roughly use the word taqleed, just blind follow the instructions, inshallah, when they're said. Because, inshallah, bi'idhni ta'ala, even though we are always making things better, the tasks that are set at this stage, they're ideal for you. There are everything that you need to do at this stage, inshallah. So if you can stick to them, the way we want you to progress, inshallah, you will definitely progress in the same manner as we expect you to, if you follow those tasks. طيب, inshallah. طيب, the Shaykh says, وَأَمَّا الْأَمْرُ الثَّانِي فَأَخْذُهُ عَلَى مُفِيدٍ نَاصِحٍ. The second thing is to acquire that knowledge from a teacher who can actually benefit you, who is actually able to give you benefit. Like he has the ahliyah, he's suitable for ifadah, and he's also nasih. He wishes the best for you, right? And he actually has the ability to suggest and advise you with whatever is best for you. He understands your situation, he understands your circumstances, he understands the situation of the world in general, and so on and so forth. فَتَفْزَعُ إِلَى شَيْخٍ. So you turn towards a shaykh. تَتَفَهَّمُ عَنْهُ مَعَانِيَهُ. So tafza' is it when you turn towards something, when you're seeking clarity, right? You might have some state of distress, you might have some state of confusion, but tafza' is you turn towards them for clarity. You turn towards a shaykh for clarity in everything that you study. تَتَفَهَّمُ عَنْهُ مَعَانِيَهُ. You understand, you attain the fahm, the deeper understanding from him about understand the meanings of the method that you're studying from him. عنه يتصف بهذين الوصفين. He is he has these two characteristics, okay, which are al-ifada, so he's mufid, and al-nush, which is he is al-nasih. وأولهما, right? So the Shaykh has these. He has these characteristics. These two characteristics. أولهما al-ifada, as we said, the ability to benefit. وهي الأهلية في العلم, and that is the suitability in knowledge, having the credibility in knowledge. Okay, he actually has the expertise for what he's teaching. فيكون ممن عرف بطلب العلم. So he should be from those who is known amongst the land, or amongst the people of the land, with his journey in knowledge, with his search for knowledge. وتلقيه, and his gathering that knowledge and attaining that knowledge. حتى أدرك, until he attained it. فصارت له ملكة قوية فيه. فصارت له ملكة. So a strong malaka, a strong expertise so he attained a strong expertise in that knowledge that he sought. Okay, so he acquired a strong malaka, a very strong expertise in that science. So he's known amongst the people of the land for studying that thing and seeking and trying to attain that thing, and then he attains it, right? Inshallah. So the person first and foremost, the shaykh that you study with, he should be known amongst the people of knowledge, to have treaded that path, to have sought that knowledge, to have actually spent that time and effort and sweat and blood, or blood and sweat in the search of that knowledge. So he should be credible enough. والأصل في هذا ما أخرجه أبو داود في سننه بإسناد قوي عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال. The principle of this, the evidence of this, is in the hadith which Abu Dawud has mentioned with a strong chain from Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, that the Messenger of Allah he said, he said, تسمعون, today you listen, you hear from me, تسمعون, ويسمع منكم, it will be heard from you, people will come and listen from you, one day you'll be in charge. ويسمع ممن يسمع منكم, and it will be heard from those who hear from you, right? So the chain of this learning is going to continue. So alluding to the fact that safeguard this knowledge, understand it well. For you listen today, others are going to listen to you from you tomorrow. They're going to acquire this from you tomorrow, and those others are going to be heard, and others will acquire knowledge from them later on. So this is amana, this is a trust. Okay, so you learn from someone who actually has the credibility. وَالْعِبْرَةُ بِعُمُومِ الْخِطَابِ لَا بِخُصُوصِ الْمُخَاطَبِ. And the ibrah, the message, right? Or the okay, how do you say this? So ibrah is the lesson that you get, right? So the lesson or the message essentially is in the generality of the speech, not in the specific, not in the you know the definiteness of the specificity of the addressee, the one you're addressing. For example, the Prophet ﷺ, he said to Umar, let's say he said, إنما العمل بالنيات. طيب. That all actions are based on intentions. طيب. Is he just saying that to Umar now? Does he mean, Umar, this is for you? Even though the khitab, the address is for a specific addressee, i.e. Umar? No, right? We will say the hadith is for the entire ummah. طيب. Although the hadith, he didn't really, he didn't say it to Umar, but I'm just giving it as an example. If the Prophet he said to Mu'adh ibn Jabal, he said, ثقيلتك أمك يا معاذ, may your mother lose you, or Mu'adh, right? Does and that he was expressing, هل يكب الناس إلى آخر الحديث, like, does anything drag people, upon their faces and X, Y, Z to the hellfire, except إلا حصائد ألسنتهم, except the thing that what the tongue has sown, right? The thing that tongue reaps because of what it says. It's the tongue, the statements that you make, the things that you say, that take you towards your final end in the hellfire or Jannah. طيب? So essentially, we understand from this that when the Prophet is even when he's speaking to one person, right? The message is for the ummah, right? So تسمعون ويسمع منكم ويسمع ممن يسمع منكم. طيب, inshallah. So this chain is going to continue. This chain of narrators, this chain of learning is going to continue. فلا يزال من معالم العلم في هذه الأمة أن يأخذه الخالف عن السالف. This from the milestones of ilm, معالم العلم, from the milestones or the foundations. Well, ma'alim is the milestones, right? So milestones of ilm, the thing that remains in this ummah, that remains true till this day in this ummah from the milestones of knowledge, is that the one who comes after takes from the one who has preceded him, right? The khalif takes from the salif. So we are the khalif, and those who've gone before us, they are the salaf, right? So we take from the salaf. The khalif, they take from the salaf. طيب, inshallah. So this is the first thing, the first characteristic of this sheikh that you learn from. أما الوصف الثاني فهو النصيحة. The second characteristic is sincere advice. وتجمع معنيين اثنين. And this combines between two meanings. One, أحدهما صلاحية الشيخ للاقتداء به. It is the suitability of a sheikh to be followed. والاهتداء بهديه. Okay. والاهتداء بهديه. Allahu Akbar. And to be guided with his guidance and his so hadihi, dallihi wa samtihi mean roughly the same thing. Based on his guidance, his direction, and his so conduct. Okay, so dallihi is his conduct as well. Hadihi is his teachings. Dallihi would be his conduct, and samtihi, his demeanor, right? The way he presents himself, and so on and so forth, right? So that's the first thing. Is the sheikh suitable to be followed as a role model? And the second thing is معرفته بطرائق التعليم. He should have knowledge of the ways of teaching. Okay, he should be knowledgeable in different models of teaching, how best to impart knowledge. Okay, he should be someone who is well versed in the science of pedagogy or teaching. Okay, he should be able to impart knowledge well. بحيث يحسن تعليم المتعلم. In that he should be able to deliver the best teaching or instruction or teaching for the learner, متعلم. He should be able to deliver the best experience for a learner. ويعرف ما يصلح له وما يضره. And he knows what is best for him, what is suitable for him, وما يضره, and what will harm him. Right? If you take on a student who has come from a Western tradition, he's not used to rote memorization of things, for example, and then you superimpose on them, or you force them to start memorizing the way the Arabs do, or the Indian subcontinent people do, then this is not something that is going to benefit them or be good for them. Rather, it will harm them because they will run away from their knowledge. They're not used to that. So you have to understand where the student is coming from. So you deal with students differently. You choose a method which is either you slowly take them to a level where they can start memorizing in the way everyone else does, right? Or you give them a separate way of memorization. Okay, inshallah. So this is the job of a good teacher. This is why when you build curriculums, when you build a mechanism by way of which you're going to be educating others, you should make sure that you understand that there are going to be different learners, different types of learners, with different abilities. And it's as a duty, you can't say no to people like the big universities do. Oxford and Cambridge, they choose people based on intellect and these intensive examinations. In Islam, it's marhaban bi wasit Rasulillah. It's always welcome with the wasiyah, the advice of the Prophet ﷺ, or the wish of the Prophet ﷺ, right? You always welcome people who comes to seek knowledge, right? So the thing that remains is that you should be able to deal with different kinds of students. Not everyone is going to become an imam. Not everyone is going to become a flying academic, right? Everyone should be able to benefit from you, right? You should be like the rain, as the hadith mentions, that falls on everyone equally. And then the ability of the land that it falls on determines how much rain it absorbs. For some land is like land with a drought, dry land, unable to absorb water. Then there are lands which are green and fertile. They absorb water and they give you vegetation and fruit as a result. And then there is, subhanallah, rocks which water touches and just slides away. So the first type at least holds water for others. So if there's a land which is dry, if it's not going to absorb the water, at least it's going to retain it. So the animals it'll form a pond, for example. The animals will come and drink from it. They'll use it. It'll be beneficial for them in some shape or form. Others will take that water, that rainwater, and they will absorb it, and then they will that water will fruition in terms of all the different types of vegetation and fruit and the thamarat that will come out of as a result. And then there are those which are utterly useless. Water falls on them and it just slides away, just drips away like the water falling on a rock. So teacher is to determine that for his students, inshallah. And he should seek the best for everyone. He should guide them individually, inshallah, depending on their circumstances and so on and so forth. وفق التربية العلمية, according to the tarbiyah of education, the way to guide. In fact, وفق التربية العلمية التي ذكرها الشاطبي في الموافقات, according to the علمي تربية, the educational philosophy or educational methodology that Imam Shatibi rahimahullah has mentioned in Al-Muwafaqat. Al-Muwafaqat is a famous book on the usul of the usul al-Deen, basically, and has primarily concerns issues of bid'ah and X, Y, and Z. So it's a book on usul and also covers portions of maqasid and others. Anyway, in that he talks about how a talib al-ilm, a mujtahid, is supposed to study. What is the best mechanism for him to study, inshallah? And essentially he talks about all the things that we have already talked about in some shape or form. طيب. He should have sincerity, he should follow the Shar'i manhaj in talib al-ilm, he should cling onto the Quran and Sunnah and understand them well from its usul and the details and the general specifics of the Sharia. He should study things gradually. He shouldn't jump into big mutun quickly. He should take his time. He should take knowledge from those ulama who are trusted by others, who are known in the land for having sacrificed their lives for ilm, right? He adopts the mannerisms and etiquettes of seeking knowledge, the etiquettes of the ulama, and then he acts upon that knowledge. He acts upon the knowledge, and then he also understands the wider rationale behind the Sharia, right? The maqasid of the Sharia. Why does Allah legislate something? And then understand, based on those maqasid, applying the Sharia in the world. Understanding that that he should be from those who people follow as a role model in sunnah, not in bid'ah, right? So he should he should understand what bid'ah is, and the Shaykh, he explains what bid'ah is, and so on and so forth. He should balance between knowledge and action, and he should rectify his personal self. He should purify himself first before he starts to purify others. As much as he's purified himself he starts to inshallah advise others with it. Like it's not that he waits for 20 years and says, I'll just wait for 20 years and then I'll start preaching or teaching people. No, you purify yourself in one thing, and then you start to teach that to others and spread that in the khair in the land, inshallah, and so on and so forth. Right? So this is the wasiyah of Imam Shatibi rahimahullah. This is the fifth principle, right? So you memorize the mutun which are reliable, and you take those mutun, study those mutun under mashayikh who are reliable, who are known for their sacrifices in the land, who are trusted by the ulama, and they are suitable for being role models, okay? And they are suitable for, they are credible and they are suitable. So they have the ifada and they have the sulh, right? The nush. They wish the best for you. They are knowledgeable in how to guide you best, and inshallah they are credible enough. They have the authority and the expertise to actually teach you. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. طيب. So alhamdulillah, this is the fifth principle, and we'll jump into the sixth maqid, al-maqid al-sadis, tomorrow bi-idhnillahi ta'ala.